Be told, the Morning Express on mainland 98.3 FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning to everyone who's under the sound of my voice this very beautiful Monday morning. It's the 6th October 2025, and you are tuned in to mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. My name is Sage Babalola, and I'll be taking you through the newspaper review morning show. It's called Trends in the Papers. And of course, this is still a very nationally significant month. I know that October 1st highlights independence, but I think the entire month of October means something. And so throughout the course of this month, we are going to be highlighting everything that makes Nigeria a great nation. And it would reflect in the quality of programs as well as the guests that we bring on different shows broadcasted on this station. But before we talk about news reports on the front pages of our dailies, as we are about to do on Trends in the Papers right this very moment, I should start by saying a very, very big thank you to everyone who felicitated with us as we celebrated our 4th anniversary on the 1st of October alongside Nigeria at 65. Yes, it was indeed a pleasure to meet some of you with the Spend a Day with Your Presenter initiative that we had put forward to celebrate our anniversary, right? A lot of you who are regular callers across different shows had an opportunity to come live, interact with your favorite presenter, and some of you were even put on the program, so you were able to speak. You went from being a voice on the phone to a real life interaction, and I'm glad that it made you glad, because I met a number of people and they were very excited to be here. They were very excited to meet their favorite presenters. They were very excited about experiencing mainland 98.3 FM, and I should just say that as a station, we appreciate you and we're very, very grateful. Also, our appreciation to let me call them the leaders of Mushin Market, especially the Mama Oloja. She was very kind to us. We also had a market sensitization program where we went to Mushin Market in collaboration with LOMA, the Lagos State Waste Management Authority. We had gone there to educate people and tell them the importance of keeping the market clean. And seeing as Lagos State government has been very proactive, they've been shutting down markets for breaking laws on cleanliness. I remember Abattoir Market, for example, was shut, but it was open a few days later after they had promised to stick to safety laws in how they operate in that market. And a few other markets have been closed because of the way they throw away their trash. The markets are extremely dirty, a place where people go to buy food. So we thought, as much as the government are wielding the big stick, we can go there and talk to the people as to how they can prevent the markets from being shut down, especially those who depend on daily income. And as I said, we worked with Loma and we went to Mushin Market, and we appreciate both the sellers, the traders there, the buyers, the consumers. They were there, allowed us to carry our sensitization initiative on cleanliness at the market. We did distribute a few items, hand fans, aprons to the women. We gave cash gifts as well. We had a dancing competition. We also had the beautiful Mama Rainbow who went with us. She gave us about 5 hours of her time that morning. She joined us to talk to people. It was a huge crowd. Everybody wanted to see her. I mean, she's an icon, yes, and she dedicated her time to us. She says, well, this is a great thing. I want to be a part of it. And she went with us and she spoke to the crowd. It was amazing. We had a great time. And it was so nice because we got there and a lot of the market women actually recognized us. It was so strange. I've never felt like a recognizable person, but people were asking, oh, who is Sage? Who is Amida? Who is Victor? Who is this person? Can you point me to this person? They know the voice, but they didn't know the face. And so the minute they saw Mainland FM, they started to ask everybody, oh, which one of you is Sage? Which one of you is Victor? Which one of you is Amida? Which one of you is this? And it was so nice. The relatability visibility. It just tells us that there are a lot of people that actually identify with the station, and it makes us very, very happy. Also, we should say thank you to all the organizations that joined us for the friendly football match, which is what we kicked off the anniversary celebration with. Harvester, Super FM, Pulse Nigeria. We played a friendly tournament. Although Harvester has carried the cup, we're hoping for a rematch maybe in December. See if we can reclaim our glory. But it was wonderful. The weather wasn't very great, but regardless, we're able to pull it off. And to all of my colleagues as well, it's such a blessing working with people that share the same level of passion, drive, commitment with you. And we're more than grateful for the team spirit. We had to take on responsibilities. We had to think very fast. We had to think on our feet. A few disappointment here and there. But because the team were together, people just started picking up responsibilities that originally were not their own. And so we were able to execute the bulk of the plans that we have. And so thank you so much to all my colleagues. Thank you so much to the management of Mainland 98.3 FM. It was a very capital intensive exercise. The whole 7 airtime, their data streaming us, they spend their to give back to the people. And so we appreciate the management. And finally, thank you to everyone for the birthday wishes as well. It was my birthday on Friday, and I felt extremely loved from the management, from my colleagues, from the listeners on Facebook, even people I didn't know. I saw my picture on their page and who is this person, right? But thank you so much. I appreciate you for that. So let's, with that out of the way, yes, I'll be taking you through the highlights, the angles, and the foundation of a lot of matters that have been raised on our dailies today. Fuad will join us as always. As you can imagine, the papers are packed, and if you're just tuning in, maybe you met us halfway my appreciation speech. This is Mainland 98.3 FM. It's trends in the papers, where we look at the newspapers and try to stay up to speed with all the things that have happened in the past 24 to 48 hours. My name is Sage Babalola. Let's quickly look through stories that trended over the course of the weekend before we bring Fuad on board. The Punch had reported, I am under serious pressure to join ADC, says Tunde Bakare. 2027, Jonathan weighs ADC's option amid comeback report. Private school owners seek tax relief, better teacher welfare. Kaduna releases 2.3 billion naira to pay pensions, gratuities. Imo begins payment of 104,000 minimum wage to workers. 2027 presidency, Jandor warns Jonathan against contesting. The Guardian newspaper, weekend stories, Tinubu fought hard to be president, doesn't complain about inherited challenges. Flooding. We live in Lekki to compete with our peers, but it's not worth the stress anymore, says residents. Police intercept petrol worth millions en route to DJ. Owo-Ikosi Kingdom seeks Sanwo-Olu intervention over land grabbing crisis. And for the Vanguard newspaper, prescription of IPOB in 2017 marked the beginning of mistrust, violence, alienation, says Ejiofor. 2027, APC targets 90% votes in Kogi. Also, queues return as petrol stations run out of stock in Abuja. We also have Governor Abdulrazak scraps payment of PTA levy in Kwara primary schools. Finally, NUJ commends DSS for ordering the release of detained journalists. That's just a summary of some of the stories that sparked quite the conversation, especially on social media and in general media over the course of the weekend. Some of these actually spill into today's stories, and we will talk about them. Let's bring Fuad Said on board so we can get straight into the discuss. Good morning, Fuad Said. How was your weekend? How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Faith. I'm good. It was a great weekend. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I was talking about, all the activities we had last week and how, it was great. It was really, really great. Our anniversary in Nigeria at 65, going to the market, meeting people, those who came live to the studio, the football match, everything. It was really great.
Wonderful experience. I have to thank all the members of staff who were very active in the organization, very active in participating, coordinating things. I think special accolade has to go to Amida particularly.
Yes, she's the real MVP.
She championed most of the things, and I think it was a great experience. We thank everyone out there who also met us. The teams we invited for the football match, investors, Super FM, and Pulse. Yeah, very, very wonderful experience. I had my 9 minutes of wonderful performance.
Just let it go. Let it go.
So, and then the market, and it was just was just a nice experience. I'm hoping that one day, I don't know whether it's going to be sometime in December, we'll have an open house for political roundtable. Now that is coming to my mind, where we can invite a lot of our listeners to a roundtable.
Like who?
But more like an open forum,
Like,
where everybody comes, and then it's not just myself, Barrister Curtis Nuruddin, Joseph Oloyale, and some of our investors. So it's like an open house thing. And I think it's going to be
wow.
Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not here on Sunday, so
You're doing boxing.
I did not say anything. Don't preempt me. I'm not here on Sunday, so anything that your eyes to see.
I'm sure it will be a nice experience.
Of course. Well, that's that about that. Yes, for side, it was a very interesting weekend. We saw and heard things that just blew our minds. It just, I say, wow, is this possible? But then, let's talk about the minister.
The Maori voice certificate.
I cannot get back. If I don't talk about this, then I'll be sick because. Because Okhwe has been Okhwe is so annoyed.
Okhwe should calm down.
Okhwe is so annoyed.
I'm surprised.
You should see the group chats. Yes, he's so annoyed by it, and I understand. I mean, anybody who understands what structure should be, who understands the procedures that should be instituted within government, will be appalled at how certain individuals have been able to circumvent systems, have been able to manipulate systems, and have been able to get away with it. Right. So we understand the disappointment in this whole situation, but for those who are unfamiliar with what we're referencing, do I doubt very much that people don't know what I'm talking about. Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology Tʀᴇ has been, should I say indicted, is that the word now?
God.
I was just Fuad calm down. In certificate forgery scandal. Now, premium times, and I should applaud, our brothers and sisters in print. It's not easy. 2 years. That means there was a group of people who dedicated 2 entire years into this particular issue. And, you sound crazy until you're proven right. I'm summarizing. There's a saying that you always sound like a crazy person until you're proven right. 2 years, and they were investigating the certificate, both the school certificate and the NYC certificate of this minister Tʀᴇ. Now the thing is that Tʀᴇ shot himself in the foot, metaphorically speaking, of course. Now he had instituted a case against the Minister of Education, the National Universities Commission, the University of Nigeria, its vice chancellor, a professor. He had instituted a case against them that they should not release his result or attempt to tamper with his results. Now in that suit that he filed to court, maybe this was an oversight or a mistake, right? Paragraph 13, and I'll quote what that paragraph says. Even though I am yet to collect my certificate from the third defendant, which is UNN, that's the university, due to largely non-cooperative attitude of the third to fifth defendant, end of quote. That's the part now. And so the question is now, if you are claiming in this suit of yours that you have not been able to collect your certificate, what did you submit at the Senate screening when you were about to be made minister? Because you did submit your certificate. How then did you get the certificates that you submitted during the screening? So there's now conversations around what exactly does the Senate screen? The point is, when documents are submitted, you go to the route, you go to the school, you talk to your persons at NYSC. Did this person go there? Is their name on the graduating list? That's what screening is supposed to be, at least on the surface. So if he was able to get away with it, what exactly did you screen? And now the university has even said it point blank. He did not complete his studies. We did not issue him any certificates whatsoever. He might have started. He was here, but he did not complete his studies. We did not issue him any certificate whatsoever. Fuad, let's talk about due process. Let's talk about scrutiny from the Senate. And let's talk about credibility of the individuals who are at the helm of affairs, who are giving us direction in the way we operate as a country. Fuad.
Sage, very unfortunate. It was one of our major talking points yesterday on the round table. And for me, when I saw the story, I was already preparing for the round table, putting the topics together, and then the news broke. The Premium Times said, look, now the university have confirmed that this guy actually forged his university certificate, blah, blah, blah. What came to mind is that, look, we have a lot of problems. It's unfortunate that simple things like this still slips us. We're still failing in very basic things like verifying the credentials of political appointees or even politicians who want to assume different political positions. If you understand what I'm saying,
Yeah.
Because again, people have talked about the need for us to audit credentials of appointees, politicians, in Nigeria, and it's going to be a big scandal. I know that if we decide to do that, it's going to be a terrible thing. The law in itself has helped these guys. Say, I'm sure you listened to us yesterday.
Yeah.
All you need is school cert, even to be a president. You don't even need the BSc. You don't need the HND. You don't need the OND. Just have your school cert, your home and die. So why they keep forging these certificates? Why they keep coming up with what they don't have? It's a bit unfortunate, if you understand what I'm saying, Sage. And then to the Senate that claims that, look, they have committees who scrutinize these things, even at the level of the presidency, Sage. Before the president submits the name, because again, what are they scrutinizing? That a home minister did not just forge his university certificate, but also forge the NYSC certificate. And now that the whole thing is in the public there, he has now admitted. So, again, we have not gotten any official statement. I don't know whether there's already an official statement from the presidency. Even the Senate that screened this guy, he has now owned up. He's accepted that he actually did it. Whether the security operatives are going to take him up, I don't know whether this falls under the jurisdiction of EFCC or ICPC. But there must be some form of punishment, maybe to serve as deterrent. And I think with this, we may just find a way to do a complete audit of credentials, certificates that have been presented by all our appointees of government and even our politicians. I think and the audit has to be done independent of government and some of these institutions. Because there's no way that Ūchennaji would have done this without some collaboration from those that should have done the right thing, if you understand what I'm saying. So this is where we are, this is who we are. It's unfortunate, but again, it exposes the fact that as a nation, we have a long way to go.
A long way to go, indeed. Well, if you're even saying that all the person needs to hold certain positions, right, is a school leaving certificate, I'm trying to understand the need to even falsify the certificate in the first place. Like, what was the need? They don't even require it of you. Nobody asked you for it. The Constitution doesn't even force you to submit that. So what exactly were you hoping to achieve with that? You don't need it, so why? He's the only one that can answer that question, really. But we have more important issues to talk about for our side. Yes, it's important, the things that these people are doing, but we have bigger fish to fry, especially with insecurity in the country. And that's why the Punch newspaper, their top story, terrorism, retired generals back calls for state of emergency. I'm looking at the Punch newspaper. Now, some retired senior military officers have backed the call for a former chief of defense staff, General Lucky Irabo, retired, for the declaration of a state of emergency to effectively address the Boko Haram insurgency. In his new book, Scars, Nigeria's Journey and the Boko Haram Conundrum, Irabo argued that the absence of political will had hindered Nigeria's response to insurgency, stressing that an emergency proclamation, backed by the National Assembly would mobilize all elements of national power towards ending the war. He says, or part of the book says, and I quote, "It should be noted that strategy deals with the aggregate of elements of national power, and these include economic, political, social, diplomatic, information, and military." So why do we have General Lucky Irabo retired, who served under former late President Muhammadu Buhari? He has a new book now, a book on Boko Haram's conundrum, our journey, and the scars that we've endured as a result of insecurity. And he says that there's a lack of political will, especially, and there are many indices that we need to take into consideration. It's not just about arming the security agencies, it's about what's going on economically, what goes on within the political landscape, even our social behavior, our social interaction, our diplomacy, information gathering, and then our military. These are all the indices to consider. And I would like to add that I think it was yesterday too, we have Sokoto State who was also calling for, I think it's time that you allow people to bear arms. If you're not able to protect us, at least allow us the legal right to bear arms to defend ourselves. Let's talk about the severity of insecurity, and let's talk about this call for a state of emergency in security in Nigeria. Would that be the first step to solving the problem?
Well, I think that we need to first have a clear definition or a clear understanding of what we mean by state of emergency. Now that part of our laws are already being misused or have been misused and are still being misused. And that is why when you hear, the government should declare a state of emergency to tackle insecurity in the state, the political establishment in the state have something ringing in their head. They are coming after us. And that's why we talk about due process, we talk about the tenets of democracy, and the need for us to uphold the law the way it is stated in our constitution and not manipulate it for any reason. Where we have gotten to, say, with the state of emergency, with the issue of insecurity in the country, the reports we are having, we do the review every day. Right. And I must say that for those who think that, look, the situation is bad, I think it's even far worse than what the papers report, because you can't just even continue to just paint the entire scenario of how bad things are. Sometimes the ethics of our profession requires that, again, you tone some of these things down for sake of public sensibility and public decorum. Sage, I think we've gotten to the point where it doesn't have to be an Irabot telling us that the government needs to declare state of emergency across the country to tackle the level of insecurity we have. What do we mean by state of emergency? As stated and stipulated in the law, it does not really tamper with the political establishment in the state. See, what it does, or what it stated in the law, is that, look, fortify the state, support the political establishment, maybe deployment of more troops, you can have some form of martial law. Martial law does not necessarily mean you have to terminate or suspend the political will freely. It might be from this hour to this hour. There might even be a part of the state where you lock down for a particular period of time, because there are special military operations going on in that part of the state. That is the essence, the complete essence of the state of emergency law that we have in our constitution. Look at, for example, there's an argument in the U.S. where you have the president, the federal government, deploying troops to different parts of the states in the U.S. You have governors who are saying we don't want them, we can't bring them into our state, because, again, are the first to be deployed to help the state because they can't help themselves. But I don't think a Trump, for example, will wake up one day and say, the governor of that state should be suspended. We operate a system of government that we borrowed. The style is actually that of the U.S., the reputation. But we have, in our own way of thinking, of messing up everything and pretending that we're making it better, we've modeled everything up. I agree that where we have gotten to, do you need that you are about to say that, look, the situation in Kwara State requires a state of emergency? What you have in Kwara North and Kwara South as we speak. But does that mean that, look, the kind of state of emergency in Kwara State will now mean that they have to suspend the governor and the Kwara State House of Assembly? That is why we say that, look, unless we say the reality is that we seem not to be ready for this democracy. We are just pretenders. That's why you see that I think the governor of Borno State, we don't need it. Everybody thinks it's a problem when they say this. What we are saying is that, look, more effort, more hands on deck, more support, more military deployment, more security deployment to tackle the issue of insecurity in the country. I think we got into that state. There's no need to argue about it. What you have in Sokoto, what you have in Niger, what you have in Katsina, the brazenness of these bandits of this part of our country. If we need to kill them, we are saying it's time to do that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to tamper with the political structure of those states. That will mean we are messing up with our democracy and also violating the principles that are found in our constitution when it comes to things like this.
All right. Well, that report is on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Whether or not the government would act on this recommendation by retired General Lucky Rabo is yet to be seen. For that, I'd like for us to talk about a situation that has played out in Owode, Oniri. I absolutely heard that story, but for some reason I'm unable to find it. But whilst I look for that, we can talk about what's going on in Rivers State. Now, there was a meeting for outside of all of the political stakeholders in Rivers State. It was supposed to be some sort of peace arrangement, a conversation between Wike's camp and Fubara's camp. But as previous meetings that I've held, it's seen that a lot of Fubara's men, or should I say Fubara's supporters, are absent at the reunion of Nyesom Wike and Fubara. Now, I'll read what the report says. The report says signs of a renewed reconciliation between Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his political mentor Nyesom Wike appear to be emerging following a high-level meeting of key political stakeholders in Port Harcourt. The closed-door meeting held on Saturday night brought together Fubara, Wike, members of the Rivers Elders and Leaders Council, the leadership of the State House Assembly, and several prominent politicians loyal to the FCT minister, including members of the Rivers State National Assembly caucus. But concerns have surfaced over the absence of Fubara's loyalists, marking the second time a peace gathering was reportedly dominated by Wike's camp. Now, this peace gathering, Fuad, the details have not been made public yet. It was a closed-door meeting. Wike, Fubara, a lot of supporters of the former governor and FCT minister Nyesom Wike were present. But the report is saying that for the second time, a lot of Fubara loyalists have not been seen around him. And so the conversation is around are his followers, or should I call them his supporters, a tad disappointed at the path that he has decided to tow, the trajectory that he has taken things? Are they disappointed that, well, we threw our weight behind you, we supported you, and then you cower and you give in to the whims and caprices of those who are clearly your opposition? Or maybe this entire scenario is just being exaggerated? What do you think is responsible for the lack of presence of those who initially had stood very firmly behind the governor?
Well, two things comes to mind. Most likely, the first thing that would be that maybe they were never invited in the first place.
Okay.
Because you understand that these meetings are coordinated. Somebody must have put a list together of people that should attend. So maybe they were never invited. I think the Wike camp and the so-called leaders of River State, I don't see them as leaders of the state anyways. These are just political elites. Elites who are loyal to Nyesom Wike. Because if you are talking about political leaders, it's going to be that of the opposition, if there is really any opposition anyway in the political space. So these are just Wike's men who, after the victory, their victory and conquering of Fubara, have called him to a table, maybe to, because it was a closed-door meeting, maybe to congratulate him the more. Are you this small boy? We told you. You know, and they might even have made him to prostrate for all the leaders in that meeting. We have from one table to another table.
We don't know that.
It's not possible.
We don't know that part.
Yeah, it was a closed-door. I'm just saying that what comes to mind when you don't understand. This was a meeting, or you think it's not possible?
I would think not. He's the governor.
I
would like to think not.
That's why you are shocked that somebody falls certificate. You should begin to get used to these things. So
I refuse to get used to anomalies for outside.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Maybe we don't say now. Say you understand.
You've seen many things.
From one table to another, beg this. This is the leader. They were the ones that worked for you. I prostrate. I'm sorry, my leader. The next table. This is just for political tomfoolery. You are. He's controlling Abuja and controlling the state. And this has been what he has always wanted. So at the end of the day, as they are having their meetings, we are the people of River State. So I'm not surprised that those that had worked for Fubara were not in that meeting. And most likely they were never invited. Nobody even reckons with them again, because again, it is the wicked people that are in charge now. They've always wanted to be in charge. They wanted the structure to remain. They've gotten assistance from the federal government to give them the federal might. And so good luck to the people of River State. That's what I will say on this one.
Well, that's that situation. We're hoping that in the coming days we can have more information regarding the details of that.
You sure you need the information of what happened in that?
I would love to know. What I would absolutely love to know. I mean, So many times, the FCT minister have been accused of ambushing the governor.
Minister wanted Fubara to have his own people when they were choosing it.
Okay.
That is the structure that Wike was complaining about. I chose you. I bought funds for you. I imposed you on the people. I put you there. You are now having your own people. When you are supposed to be for me alone and only for me and listen to me, you are now forming caucus. So he was never expected that the governor was going to have any people that would be loyal to him. He was supposed to be loyal only to Wike. That was the mistake, and they showed him really. That's why I say in that meeting they were telling to prostrate for all the leaders there, one by one. If they are 100, he will do 100 prostrations.
This is Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Sage Babalola. I'm here talking to Fuad Said via the phone. We're looking at the Punch newspaper. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. You can join the live stream so you can participate. And when it's time to take feedback, you can. Rights group decries handling of Lagos market bloodbath. That was the story I was looking for. Now we have the Center for Human and Socio-Economic Rights has cried out against the handling of the Owode-Oniri Motor Spare Part Market killing, describing recent development as a disgraceful drama of impunity and an abuse of state power. In a statement by its president, Alex Omotaise, the group condemned the release of 3 policemen linked to the murder of 7 traders and the bail granted to alleged land grabber Abiodun Ariori, said to have masterminded the attack. Omotaise said, and I quote, "The Nigeria police force has once again chosen the path of cover-up and selective justice, transferring the implicated officers to Abuja instead of trying them in Lagos, and orchestrated attempts to shield them from public scrutiny and deny the victim's family justice." So there's a back story for that side. Now, some police officers were alleged to have connived with a land grabber, Ariori. Ariori. Sorry. You know about England. No, I'm not sure. Well, he allegedly they attacked the Owode-Oniri spare part. Now the traders there, well, they fought back basically. Now 7 traders were said to have died in that altercation. Of course, they were all arrested, and now the human rights group is saying that the 3 officers, first of all, who were suspected to be a part of that ruckus, are being transferred to Abuja to be tried. And so they're saying, why are you trying them in Abuja? The offense or the allegations were leveled against them here in Lagos. And the Ariori himself, who is the suspected land grabber, that he was released on bail on health conditions. So his lawyer was able to argue
on health conditions.
Yes, his lawyer was able to argue that he's of poor health, and he was granted bail. And the officers themselves are now being transferred to Abuja to be tried. And so human rights group is saying that this is an attempt at a cover-up, and the families of the victims who unfortunately died at that when that incident happened would probably not get any justice.
Sage, like someone said recently, if they explain this country to you and you understand,
you yourself, you are not okay.
I'm telling you, because we've been this question, this particular case have been reported severally. How the whole thing happened, how who is alleged to be a land grabber has stormed the Owode-Oniri market and then trying to take over land or something. He brought in police officers. Again, that recently the IGP was telling police officers that, look, stay away from land matters, civil matters that should be in court.
Right.
Because a lot of times you have people who go to do these things, going there with police officers armed. If there's a dispute on land, where do you go to resolve it? Say.
Court is not a criminal.
Go to court. If you have your papers, file a case in court. But what you have is that, look, you have people who forcefully take over these properties. In fact, sometimes they even use the police to take physical possession, forcefully move people out, enforce illegal demolition in different parts of the state. And in this one now, maybe the people of that area, even according to reports, stood up against this person, and because he came with armed policemen, they shot 7 people dead, 7 traders dead in that place. 7, Yamaji, Tonton, Sage, were killed. Now, some of the 3 police officers in one of the reports, the argument is that it was in self-defense.
Yeah.
They were attacked by the traders, and in defending themselves, they shot 7 people dead. If they are not gone to the place with Ariori in the first place, if Ariori, if he had any issue with the land, had gone to court, say you know that this issue would not have happened. What the police officers should explain what they were there for in the first place. Were they there to enforce a court order? And if they are going to enforce a court order, should they be led by Ariori? Is it a police officer? Is it a government officer? How did he have the opportunity to take policemen into a place to go and storm the place to the point where 7 people have now been killed? You know, it's not like if they explain this country to you, state, and you understand there's something wrong with the president. Now the same police officers have said that they had their orderly room trial and that they said that they should now be transferred to Abuja. That's number one. Then in court, the same man that was charged for leading the murder of this, because it could be a case of that, look, these guys were murdered, has now been granted bail on health grounds. Change. And that's why you have the human rights people saying that, look, this appears like they want to cover this matter. You know, we talk about the justice system in the country. See?
Right.
We can complain about, you know, our filling system, but the way we are also, messing up the entire justice system in the country is frightening. Looking more like, look, might is right. Once you have connection, once you have power, once you have money, it will be difficult for anybody to get justice against you. That's the picture we are presenting of ourselves, which is very unfortunate. So we hope that the right thing will be done. We cannot question the wisdom of the court for giving him bail, since the lawyer has been able to argue that. But there are a lot of questions about our justice system and when it comes to holding people to account when they commit some crimes in this country.
Mm-hmm. Well, kudos to the rights group that are taking this upon themselves to actually monitor the situation closely. If they didn't talk about this, chances that we wouldn't have known that bail was granted to the alleged land grabber, or that the policemen involved were to be transferred to Abuja. And as you said, they're arguing self-defense, that the shooting happened because they were defending themselves against the traders. We'll see.
Why were they there in the first place? That's the question. Was there a court order they had gone there to enforce? And in enforcing a court order, what are the processes?
The report doesn't even say that. I don't think this.
So why were they there in the first place?
Well, for side, the Punch still. Petrol remains 865 naira per litre amid Dangote's free delivery. Dangote despite receiving petrol at 820 naira per litre with no logistic cost, partners of the Dangote refinery have yet to reduce pump price at their filling station. Findings by the Punch on Sunday revealed that Hayden, AP, MRS and other major partners continue to sell at 865 naira per litre. Now, according to this, the plan was that with free logistics, at least states in the southwest, for example, were supposed to get at about 841 naira, and those in the far north, were supposed to get at least 851 naira per litre. But the partners of Dangote are saying, yes, there's no logistic cost and we're getting it cheaper now, but we have old stock and we have to finish selling the old stock before we can start reflecting the price reduction as a result of Dangote's initiative. So they're still selling at 865 naira, and Dangote himself is saying, well, the whole point of free logistics and a reduction in the gantry price of 820 was so that people can buy at a cheaper price. But as you can tell, the retailers are saying, well, we still have old stock. When we start selling the one we bought from you, we would reduce the price for outside.
It is only when it comes to reducing prices that you hear the marketers saying, it's only when prices are supposed to go down, you hear marketers say, oh, what we are talking.
Yeah.
So, and I think the papers may not be completely right in calling them partners. These are marketers.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because when you say partner, it looks as if they are a part of the Dangote group.
Not necessarily.
So these are marketers who patronize Dangote. Say you know them now.
I don't.
But you don't.
Never heard of them.
The blend people are the Malta people.
Sorry, I don't know.
You know them, okay? But these ones are the ones who patronize Dangote refinery.
Yes.
And I like the fact that the report is saying that, look, you now get at 820 naira per litre through the free distribution arrangement with Dangote, and it should be reflective of your pricing. By now, we should begin to see some marginal drop. I think it's only one or two MRS filling stations have been identified who have dropped to around, I think, 840, right? But a lot of them are still selling at 860, 865, 870.
Yeah.
So at least the old stocks were end. Maybe let us see what happens between this week and next week. At least I get all of the old. You know the question again is.
It's been on for weeks, so old stock should have finished now. How about?
You think so?
Yes.
But we are not in the operation.
They don't know what they are doing. It's been on for weeks. Come on.
Are you saying they are lies?
I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, it's been on for weeks. Come on.
So by now,
Okay. Let the old stock we shall finish. Abi.
One day.
It will finish one day. We'll see.
Maybe 2026.
Why do you? Perhaps if you shall finish one day, we will see. There's no problem. Well, Fuad, there's absolutely nothing funny about the cost of gas at this time. Deep sigh, because cooking gas shortage has now caused gas to rise to 25,000 naira. That's 12.5 kg. That's 3,000 naira per kg, but 12 kg gas cylinder, yes, 25,000 naira. It went from 17,500 to 25,000 naira. Checks by Vanguard confirmed that 1 kg now retails at 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, depending on the location that you are buying from. The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Association of Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers, Mr. Basi Essien, told Vanguard on phone yesterday that the distribution of the products was disrupted by the recent industrial action by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasan. He says Dangote Petroleum Refinery is currently the highest local supplier of gas in Nigeria. The crisis involving Pengasan scuttled distribution. Many dealers could not replenish their stock during the period. And so because of the artificial scarcity that was caused by this action, is what caused the ripple effect of the increase in gas price. And don't you think this further solidifies the point of Dangote, that you're quite irrational, and sometimes the things that you do can cause a problem for business owners? And just this scuffle that happened within 2 weeks has caused gas price to go from 17,500 to 25,000 naira.
Well, again, I was on Saturday. I was around Mowe, State, and I saw that there was a lot of queues in most of these gas stations, especially from retailers who also want to sell in the streets and what have you. And some of the information, again, they are saying the report again from those that should know is that, look, it was because of the Pengasan industrial action, supply disruptions, blah, blah, blah. But again, this speaks to the fact companies who have their, before the intervention, now things are back to normal somehow. But gas is not back to normal. So let's see whether within the next 2 or 3 days, now that the federal government intervention has made them to rethink their decision, things will get back to normal. We are hoping that I'm not too familiar with the old price, but I know it was around like 1,000, 1,002 before this disruption.
It was 1,200.
So
rich kid outside does not know retail price. Wow.
No, I don't know. Not because I should not know. I'm not sure. I don't want to give out the wrong information.
It's because you're always buying tanker of gas. That's why I don't know.
You see the problem. So I don't want to give out the wrong information. So let's hope that, again, even at 1,200, it's still too expensive.
Right.
For a kg of gas. There was a time I think it's not up to 3 years. We're still buying a kg of gas like 200, 250 per kg. It's never too far now. Almost, I think maybe 2-3 years ago, a kg was still around 300, 350, maybe maximum 400. Now we're dealing with 1,002. Some people now.
PMS price change within hours, like literally within hours. So I don't think that the change in gas price exactly. Very briefly, in 1 minute, if you can, I really want us to look at this whole Adams Oshiomhole Jonathan conversation. People are having a field day on this subject matter, where he granted an interview. I'm talking to Adams Oshiomhole, and he says that anyone who wants Jonathan to contest in 2027 is his enemy. He thinks that he already has things going on for him. He's a respected member of society. People look look at him as an epitome, of what proper leadership should be, etc., etc. And so there's no need for him to contest, throw himself into this race. And anyone who asks him to do it is his enemy. So the conversation is, if you think him competing is going to sabotage him, if you are opposition, why are you so concerned about protecting his dignity and integrity? Are you not supposed to deliberately let him make the mistake, seeing as he is your opposition? Why are you trying so hard to protect him? Same with Festus Keyamo as well, and every other person I say don't compete, it will be a
Even Jando don't have
is illegal. Like, why are you trying so hard to protect his dignity? Let him, if you're so sure that he wouldn't make headway.
I don't know, really. I really don't know why, members of the ruling APC are now so, focused on Jonathan, and they've suddenly become his advisors. Your enemies are the ones telling you to come and complain. So you that you are not telling him to contest, you are his friend. This Adams
he says he has been defeated before. There's no people defeat him again.
They should defeat him again now. And they should come and look at what Bayo Onunuga. Bayo Onunuga have done the same thing too. That one even went on an all-out attack. The court will decide whether you can be sworn in more than 2 times. You destroyed the economy. There was a lot of money made through oil. You squandered everything. Calm down. The man has not even officially declared his intention to run. So why the panic? Because this is looking like a fact that, look, the man might be running again. He's a full-blown adult, a former president. I'm sure he has his advisors, he has his legal team who are looking at all these things. So why are they so... the ruling APC and their people, you see that they don't want anybody to contest against the president in 2027. If Obi speaks, the goal on all that attack. If I think, should we just have a situation where they just swear in him in 2027, no contest?
That's undemocratic.
If Jonathan wants to let him run, in fact, if he runs, I will have to text the law on whether I can be sworn in or thrice. That is good for our democracy. It becomes a part of our law. You see, the beauty of democracy is in us being able to test the law.
We have to
even though with our judiciary, testing the law means another thing entirely. That's just the reality. That's another problem. If we are going to have an impasse law, the thing you get becomes a problem.